I don't know if you're familiar with Stephen A. Smith, but he is a sports commentator
I
analyst.
know who he is.
You are?
I know who he is. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So he has a very popular podcast called The Stephen A. Smith Show outside of what he does on ESPN. And he's been talking a lot about politics, have a lot of high profile people on his platform. Now there's been a lot of circulation going around about him running for office. Now it's about him running for presidency. He always blew it off and say, I have no interest, I have no interest, I have no interest, right? He does not champion so much what the Democrat does. He kind of champions a lot what Trump is doing, but he's somewhat in the middle. So now, Stephen A. Smith is speaking to a potential 2028 presidential run. And I want to play this clip on what he now says about that possibility.
Just want to let y'all know where I'm at. Not interested in running. Hope it doesn't come to that. But I was told I owe it to all of us to at least leave the door open. That's what I did. By the way, this Sunday, I'm scheduled to be on This Week with George Stephanopoulos on ABC. And practically every other network is called. They're apparently taking it very seriously. So I have no choice but to do so. It just comes down to that. It just comes down to that.
Okay, what's your expertise, sir, in legislation, constitutional law, in the military matters, in economics, in diplomacy, in international intelligence? What's your expertise? State the basis for your qualifications, or don't get used and abused, and that's it. And meanwhile, we have people who have impressed with their aggressiveness, their assertiveness, their authority, and the effectiveness of their presentations in those things, those vital things. So why don't you try to apprentice yourself to one or more of them so you can learn what's going on?
Why is it that Americans are so obsessed with quote unquote celebrities or TV personalities to run for political office?
Because for the last 100 years, we have had the Hollywood industry that has slowly but surely acclimated and propagandized the American public to think that way. They get stuck on stupid and focused on imagery. We've been propagandized slowly but surely over the last 100 years by the Hollywood industry that has gotten us to go for this thing of elevating entertainment based celebrities to the status of being our leaders. Now, what they've been doing is this: they have created a situation where we go to the movies and pay a good fee. We turn on our televisions and we watch. We have our devices and we watch. And there is someone that's supposed to be an assassin. There's someone who's supposed to be the president. There's someone who's supposed to be the general. There's someone who's supposed to be the lawyer. Someone who's supposed to be the adventurer. And we sit there and absorb them, and we get into what they were doing on the screen, small or large. But when you look at these people for real, they have nothing to do with these avocations or these occupations or these professions. They're actors. All they do is take somebody's artistic creation and make it look real. So we are doing what so many other people are doing that we've discussed. They're so deep into appearances rather than substance that they don't possess the ability to distinguish one from the other, where it's fake, where it's real. They don't know. And that's what we have now, is an American public that has been conditioned to go with the fake. Where if you have a decent actor, he doesn't have to have this in his head. He doesn't have to have the experience. He doesn't have to have the degrees. All he has to do is being convincing when he is acting what somebody else scripted out. So the question is who's writing the script rather than who's doing the acting. And the problem is that the script writers for this often have the same flaws. They don't have any background in the subject either. So we're getting unreality. And that's a bad thing.